Hey, what's up, everybody? War Sports back. Reaction video. The games just ended Sunday night. We're going to do an instant reaction, post it up on YouTube and on Instagram for a bonus video for everybody. It's going to be a 10, 15-minute little one, but, might as well get that instant reaction when everything's fresh. And we just, turn the TV off and called each other on the phone, and let's get the rundown real quick. We'll start with Saturday's games.
Yep.
The first game, any surprises there? Anything that you thought that was going to go or went the way you thought it was going to go?
It was pretty much the way I thought it was going to go. Green Bay was just too much to handle for beat up Jared Goff and the Rams team. Aaron Donald, like we said, it was just there's just not enough offense. They couldn't keep up with them, and it really didn't look that tough for them. No surprises for me really. It was just
No, exactly. I mean, if you went back and listened to our last podcast, the rundown we gave for that game was like almost on point, script for script. It went exactly how we thought it was going to go, and we swept those bets on that game too. So, Aaron Rodgers, another NFC Championship game, and we'll see what he does next week. That second game, though, I think it was a little bit more drama, a little bit more. I know we disagreed on the outcome, and any surprises there when you saw it? Anything that stood out to you?
You know what? It was a lot lower scoring than I thought it was going to be. I was expecting more of kind of a high scoring game, so that got me there. I got killed on the over under. But like I said, I still felt like Buffalo was the better team. Hats off to their defense. Holy cow! Like this is what we've been waiting for to see. And if that defense is going to play that way to go along with that offense, it can be scary for whoever else. Because like I said, Kansas City's defense isn't as good for sure. It was it kind of went the way I thought. I just thought the Bills were a better team. You did make some good points about how they haven't, they're a year away, and we may see that next weekend when they play, a team been there, done that type team, But I thought they were a better team, and they came out and showed it. But their defense, man, holy cow! I can't say enough about how good that defense played.
No, I agree. They earned their paychecks. They got that pick six was big, 103-yard return. Changed the whole momentum. That was a 14-point swing if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
Going from one touchdown to another touchdown. That was big. That really was the killer of the day. And then Lamar, the injuries, that was kind of, I wasn't expecting it, but at the end of the day, you run, you put yourself out there, you're a physical player, you're gonna get nicked up, you're gonna be able to have to sit down some series. And I thought it was gonna be a tough slug it out, low scoring game. I did cash in on the under on that game, but it didn't go the Ravens' way. But you know what? Buffalo KC, we're going to have a lot to talk about this week on the podcast. It's going to be a good preview.
Hats off to Baltimore's defense too, man. They held that offense to, what was it, 17-3 was the final, right?
Yeah.
They held them to 10 points.
Yeah,
but,
one of the
but
lowest
to me,
scoring games.
Something looked wrong with the offense, Baltimore's offense. They just looked shook all game. There was two or three bad snaps, and they didn't look like they were in sync. I don't know what was wrong, but I couldn't understand it. But
you know what it really almost looked like was that the players weren't trusting the coach's play calls. Like there was second guessing everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if it was too conservative or if it was just too slow of a tempo or whatever it was, but it seemed like everything was 2 beats off because there was too much thinking in between.
Absolutely.
And maybe it was nerves. I don't know. It could be nothing with the coaches. It could just be nerves.
But the defense, man, the defense kept them in that game. Like I said, allowed that offense 10 points, and they had the pick 6, gave them 17. But man,
you know what? At the end of the game, man, Hundley hit Dobbins in the flat right there, straight up, nothing but grass in front of him. He probably would have scored. It might have turned that game into another, who knows with the onsides or another defensive stand, who would have could have happened. But I mean, hats off to Hundley for going in there in a tough spot. He did his job. Even that throw to Andrews wasn't horrible. I mean, he could have maybe come down with it, but when Dobbins hit that, I think I texted the group and said, "Cut Dobbins on the spot, man. You cannot do that right now in the playoffs, man. He's done." How about from today, the early morning, or I guess the early afternoon game? Any surprises there?
Honestly, I got to take my hats off to the Browns. They kept it close. Their drives were just long, drawn out drives. And, kind of like you had said, they're going to settle for field goals while the Kansas City Chiefs score a touchdown. But there was even a couple of times that they ended up holding up on the defensive end to holding Kansas City to field goals. And I tell you what, they had a chance late when Mahomes went out. That was their chance, and they held them. They got that turnover. I don't know what that pass Henny was throwing was, but Yeah, I mean, they had a chance late, and it's one of the things that the last, when they had the ball fourth down with like 4 minutes left, and they decided to punt the ball. It's kind of, man, I guess this one of the ones that people on both sides are gonna say, they should have just went for it. That other people, I see why you punt it. You got Chad Henne on the other side, just threw an interception, so you got to take your chances, your defense to make a stop, and they just couldn't stop them, and that's just.
What I thought about was last week when the Steelers were playing the Browns, there was a late 4th and 2 or something, and the Steelers, the whole world said go for it. The whole world said go for it, and that was the one. The whole season stood on that play, and it didn't. They punted, and I thought about the same thing when the Browns were up. I said, just go for it. Like, what do you got to lose, man? Like,
exactly.
Seize the momentum.
You don't have Mahomes in there, but they have weapons.
Yeah,
everywhere.
But it just reminded me a little bit of synergy from the game to game. They benefited from the Pittsburgh punting last week, and they gave the ball back and trusted their D, and Kansas City was able to run the clock out. But give it up to Henne on that last drive.
Considering another thing too is like you said, another reason to go for it is because they just blew 2 timeouts already. So they're down.
There's no strategy left. It's all you need is that one timeout for the long pass to get down there to get in position. That's all you need.
You don't get it. They're in close position to get a field goal. You still got a chance.
Still in the game. Yep,
you still got a chance to score a touchdown and 2-point conversion. So I agree, man. It's just like I said, there's not. Mahomes wasn't in there, but you still got Tyreek Hill. You still got Kelsey. You still got Williams, was tearing it up today. So
it's
but tough,
like I was saying right before this, give it up to Henne, man. Like that last drive, there was that, what was it, like a 3rd and 14? Yeah. He got 13.5 yards. And then that 4th down call, Andy Reid, man, that was gutsy for real.
It was.
I did not. I was like, okay, quarterback sneak it, cool. Let's just he went. Tyreek. It was. I'll give it up to Andy Reid. He wanted to put it away. He put the nail in the coffin and put everybody to bed.
Thinking maybe they're not going to go for it, because they're really just going to line it up, take the 5 yards and punt it. Yeah, no, for real, that was ballsy, and it worked out.
Yeah, for sure. So. But we'll see what happens with Mahomes this week. I think it's something to watch. Everybody is going to hold on before making any kind of fantasy lineups, making any bets, making any kind of friendly wagers with your friends. We'll see what Mahomes is going to be like. Night game. We were. I was off. I thought the Saints were going to pull it out for a 3rd time. You had guessed that the Bucs were gonna do what they did, exactly what they did. They didn't get that last touchdown, which I thought they might put it away, but and hit that over. But they scored 50, so they underhit, and they won by 10, so they covered on their side. So.
Yeah, and then like I was telling you before, off the air, I just felt like something wasn't right with the Saints all year, like whether it's health or what it is. It's just I just don't feel like they had a real chance to get in sync healthy. Mike Thomas, we don't know how bad he's really still hurting. Kamara, same thing, and Breeze. I mean, he can't be. I can't imagine going back out there after breaking that many ribs and all that stuff. And so I just feel like they just were never. And it sucks because they're such a good group of guys, a good team, and this is what they brought in Brady for. This is what they brought in Antonio Brown for. This is what they brought in Gronk for, and there's too many weapons on that damn team, and to put it with that defense who's solid, that defense is going to keep you in all the games, and like I said, beating a team 3 times is tough. You think the team that's won twice has the advantage, but man, I feel like it's almost a little harder because knowing that, hey, we've already beat them twice. So in some ways you're like, oh, hey, we got this. Maybe you get complacent. I don't know. But I just felt like the Bucs were rolling. They're a lot hot. They were the hotter team coming in, and it pretty much played out a lot the way I thought it was. Like I said, I thought more points, obviously, but I figured the Bucs were going to win this one and set up some good games for next weekend, man. I tell you.
Yeah, I think Rodgers Brady going to be a good game. A rematch from earlier in the year. I think we're just gonna, we'll do our homework. We'll get ready for the next couple of. Hopefully, we'll do 2 podcasts this week. We'll try to do an NBA one, touching this MLB news. A lot of coaching maneuvers are going around. People are declaring for the NFL draft. It's almost one of those weeks where you have to almost every day you have to look at a certain sport differently from day to day. So it's just it's a fun time of year. And this is our first year doing this, so we're going to balance and how we're going to do a little bit of mixture of Instagram and Twitter and post it on YouTube, making videos, editing videos, and get them out there. And we're just going to keep hitting it up every day and see what we can come up with for
That's
everybody
right.
out there. So, real quick before we go, if this is Drew Brees' last game, man, what are you going to remember of the game and of his career?
It's just like, when someone who came into the league, not your prototypical size, always told he wasn't going to be good enough, couldn't do it. I mean, heck, they even drafted
Rivers.
Rivers in San Diego because they're just like, hey, this guy after coming off this injury, there's no way. And just all the odds that he defied and just kept pushing, and just such a great professional, man. I mean, I tell you, every wide receiver's dream. Who else would you rather have the face of your franchise than someone like Brees, right? I mean, just great. Seems like a great guy. Does a lot for the community. Just great lot for the NFL. And I tell you what, if this is it for him, he's going to be missed for sure. Hell of a competitor. Always put his team in a spot to win. And like I said, if this is it for him, I'm definitely going to miss him. I'm going to miss watching him play every weekend. And there's not very many more like him. And so, like I said, hell of a career for him. And it's sad to see this is the way he goes out, but hey, he can hold his head up high because he's been to the top and he's accomplished everything. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. So.
No, everything you said, I agree with. He was undersized, undervalued, kind of didn't look at maybe as a backup at some point in his career.
Yep.
Coming off an injury, like you said. I remember the Dolphins kind of saying, "Nah, we're not going to mess with Brees right now. We're going to go with Dante Culpepper," and then having that little chip on your shoulder too, and Peyton, Sean Payton believing in it. One thing I don't want to go too long in this video, but the one thing I think I respect the most is, Manning had this high arc and then he kind of stayed at the plateau.
Yeah.
Brady kind of did this a little bit and then he got up here. Brady wasn't the yards, the touchdowns, the games won guy for a while. He was just, consistently winning championships in the Belichick system. And he became a really good quarterback about halfway through that dynasty. And then those second 2-3 Super Bowls were on Brady's arm and his brain.
Absolutely.
And but Brees, he just steadily and consistently and all of a sudden it was like you look at the records and he's passing Brady and he's passing Manning and he never was even on the same breath as those guys early on in his career. So hard work, determination, talent, being blessed with a good system and good people around you, that consistency. I think that's the one thing I'll probably respect him the most for, and just never giving up and just showing up every day and saying, hey, you know what? You need 300? Well, I'll get you 300. You need 4 touchdowns? We'll get you 4 touchdowns. Whatever it is. I don't think he chased a record. I think he played every game within the game. Right. And, I respect that so much from him because, again, there just wasn't this moment. All of a sudden it was you look at the record books and he's there. For like, how did you get here?
Yeah, absolutely.
But, I'll just definitely, I hope him and his family have some good discussions and they'd make the right decision for themselves. But stay or go, that's for them to decide. But if this was his last game, he will be missed for sure, and it's going to be a big hole in the NFC South and a big hole in the NFL overall. So,
absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, man. We'll get this video up for you guys hopefully Sunday night. We'll talk to you guys Monday morning on Instagram. Dion, I'll hit you up later, man. We'll do it again next week.
Sounds good, brother. I'll see you later.
All right, man. Peace, y'all.